Oh god, do you want me to leak something on this podcast that I shouldn't leak?
Let me see some ones in the chat if you guys have seen any evidence that debunks this shit. Because I know I haven't seen any.
Go away! Stop talking about me then!
Yes, I'm terrified of Augie. I'm actually terrified of him. He creeps me out in ways that I'll never be able to get over.
You should be terrified.
No, but she'll start shit with people, and then like when they clap back, then she's like, oh well, I'm pregnant, so I can handle this.
Hey guys, my name is Linux and welcome back to my channel. Here we are again. I know I said I did not want to talk about Creepshowart aka Shannon again unless something crazy happened, and to be fair, a lot of crazy stuff has happened. If you're worried that this is going to be turning into purely a anti-Creepshowart channel, no, that's not what's happening. I actually have like 6 other videos that I'm working on right now that are on deck that I am scripting right now. I was gone again for a month because I had an ear infection, and currently I still have a bruised eardrum, but y'all don't care about that. So we are going to get into the video now. So all of this happened because of a podcast with Turkey Tom, Nixie Oreo, someone who I can't remember your name, I am so sorry, and Ordinary Gamer. And I'm going to insert the clip here.
About it right now.
Oh god, do you want me to leak something on this podcast that I shouldn't leak?
Obviously.
Go for it.
I can't say what YouTuber it is, but I really, you know what? There's not really a way I can get around it. I don't really care.
Just do it. Just go.
Maybe we'll cut it later, but like fucking Gabby Hanna told me that fucking Creepshowart just hit her up a couple days ago from a random phone number or whatever and said, you need to make a video on Ready to Glare.
Whoa.
Because Ready to Glare like disowned her publicly. So apparently she's such a psycho bitch. She's still trying to get even behind the scenes.
Dude, I just
That's the rumor. I don't know.
That's too
I might
good.
get in trouble for saying that, but I can't not. That's crazy.
So as of right now, there are a lot of general disagreements about if this is fact or rumor. I do not have any public proof that I can show in way of proving these claims, but is Nick Oreo's credibility as a commentary channel everything to him? Yes. Has he had some spicy takes on stuff on Twitter? Also, yes, but I don't really think that should discount from the fact that he likes to report things as fact, like as they are. It does genuinely mean everything to him. And it also has been proven that Gabby Hanna and Shannon are in fact friends, especially with Camilla's video that she just released as of yesterday, which was the 7th of this month. With the voice memos where she was talking about that her and Gabby were, you know, messaging each other and things like that. So they are actually friends.
Gabby has told me like random shit, like she'll be watching a video and someone will like mention her and she'll be like, oh, that hurt my feelings.
But what came next is the meat, I guess, of this entire video, which was the absolute shitstorm that ended up happening on Twitter. And that's what we're going to be focusing on now. So I'm going to be not looking as much at the camera because I have all of it in front of me. I've tried to put it in an order that makes sense. We're going to be going over everything that happened. So Ashley Lilly, who has reactivated her Twitter account, states, haha, wait, so you're telling me that Creepshowart ignored all of us trying to contact her and changed her number after she got canceled and then texted Gabby Hanna, of all people, off her new number to try and slander RTG, who is Ready to Glare. That's absolutely rich. And then some statements underneath. Ash says, which is what I was saying has been confirmed behind the scenes but not publicly, where someone asks, how do we know this? Did Gabby talk about it? I refuse to watch your channel, which fair enough, good for you. But Ashley says it was discussed by someone she told it to on a podcast and confirmed off record. So like I said, I don't have any like super verifiable way of being like, yes, I have the smoking gun here on this is what happened. But do I believe these people? Yeah, I do. And I'm so sorry. I don't know why I part my hair like this. It's always in the way. But I like it better this way. So anyway, moving on. And Ashley states, you know, I just realized that the lolcow thread someone sent me was literally created right after Shannon got canceled, and it specifically went over things from a year ago that I vented to her in depth about Lamau, which is talking about there is apparently a new lolcow thread that is specifically about Ashley Lily on lolcow. And I don't know if you'll ever see this, Ash, but I'm sorry. As I've said before, I'm real sorry that the people that Shannon just continues to screw over. Anyway, I thought it was really effing weird subject for people to randomly bring up and try to use against me. By the way, yes, I'm aware my microphone is slowly drooping down. I don't know what to do about that. I can't seem to lock it in place. Because it died off forever ago, and any honest person would see that I hadn't been wrong in, and also targeted me for being kitty diddled by my arpist. Convenient, I guess. Yeah, that's an extremely messed up thing to say. And for just some really brief context, Ashley Lily is one of Davi Vanity's victims. So to say those kind of things about her on just a public forum purely for shit talk it's a real messed up move, especially to use that kind of phrasing if it's true, if it is Shannon. Allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly again. So, and the Ash State says the end of the thread defends Creepshow. Shannon is an actual monumental moron. So, what happened from here is just a whole lot. So much happened from here because, of course, so there's some people that we're going to be covering that are friends with Ash, or at least familiar with her and her story, like I mentioned with Davi. Ash is sick of people defining her in this way as being referred to as one of Davi's girls. I only included it for context, if anyone is not familiar with that whole story. But to have it constantly be thrown back in her face and also be used against her in this way is just gross. It's really gross. But once we get through, I'm going to include the whole screenshot, and you'll see some caps underneath that these people are responding to that are familiar with or do know Ash. And this is where the whole Twitter feud started. It was crazy. Tipster states, plot twist. This is why no one likes these F&T channels, jumping to conclusions to harass Ashley Lily. That's all these people do. Post speculation and misinformation that their brain-dead audiences interpret as fact. It's a serious problem that needs to be called out, which I agree with Tipster on. Ginger Ramoth, I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong if you ever see this, my bad, states, with Paige in the comments, I called it, girl, you have talked so much without saying anything useful to anyone. As for Dustin, your videos are biased garbage. Ashley Lily getting hate from both of you proves your research is lacking, if existent at all. Now we're going to get into what is actually in those screenshots that are underneath that these people are replying to. Dustin Daly says, plot twist, you knew the effery that Gabby was saying and doing before anyone. It'd be interesting to know what you've seen and if you knew Gabby was going to go after RTG Ready to Glare so hard. Also, second plot twist, you're just as bad. And underneath there you can see the comment that Ginger was referencing where Petty Page is saying, third plot twist, I called it. I'm sorry, called what? But first, we're going to address exactly what Dustin Daly says here. We're going to break it down a little bit. He is accusing Ashley Lilly of having seen the entirety of Gabby Hanna's series that she has been releasing, where she's just steadily destroying her YouTube career on the platform, right? Saying that she had to have known about all of this and saying that Gabby was going to go after Ready to Glare so hard. Gabby included Ready to Glare as an afterthought, possibly and allegedly at the behest of Shannon. Do we know if that's true? Again, as I said, I don't have any public proof to verify that information, but it could be possible. It's very possible. Yes. So the thing that these people are responding to was that Ash said, plot twist, I have seen some of the Gabby series before it came out because Creepshow was leaking it to all of us, talking about how crazy it was. Now, the context that they and we are missing here is that Ash was referring to that she saw some of the rice gum segment. That's it. That is the only portion of the series that she has seen or had seen before it was released. Now, I don't know about you guys, but like, I happen to know, but refuse to watch Gabby Hanna as well, and know that the series is massive. It's extremely long. So when Ash says, I've only seen a portion of this series, I'm very inclined to believe her. Because the series is so long, it talks about a lot of people, it spans just multiple hours. So to say, I only saw a portion of it, it sounds very reasonable, just given the amount of stuff it goes over. We're not going to get into Gabby Hanna at all. That's not why we're here. Dustin Daly goes on to say that he thinks that Ashley is mad that he's speculating. Ashley clarifies that no, he's not speculating. He's trying to claim something, which he is. He's claiming that she's seen more of the series than she's actually seen. Pretty much that it was a sketchy video that she saw about rice gum and didn't want to watch it because it was boring, and just mentioned it on a tweet about Shannon Creepshowart cozying to Gabby to talk bad on her friend is funny, because she was trying to make fun of her series behind the scenes before it came out. Essentially, that Shannon has no real friends, even the ones that seem to match the energy that she has, which is just the petty catty energy spectrum, really, that actually thought it was ironic that Shannon was talking shit about Gabby's series before it was out, just in relation to the rice gum video, and that it seemed ironic looking back on it, knowing this new information now. Nick Snyder says, calm down, Gabby. Oh, sorry. You just sounded like her there at the end. And to try and say that Ashley sounds anything like Gabby here is weird. I am, of course, just kind of glossing over the main points of all of these tweets because we have a lot to cover. But, comparing her to Gabby, and you'll be able to see in the language, because I will have the full tweets on the side, doesn't really seem too fair to Ashley at all. It just does not seem reasonable at all. Ashley then goes on to say, this is actually really sad and pathetic. You guys would rather double down and be a-holes to people instead of recognize misunderstandings and move on. Please don't make more videos about people Creepshowart hurt because you don't actually care about us. Which is a fair point. It's a really fair point. Because like I was saying before, the context that I didn't have was that the T channels that were talking shit and saying that they were taking too long to come out and address the situation with someone that they thought was their friend to make sure that they had their facts right were these T channels. Did not have that information, context, whatever you want to call it, before. But it's just so wild that the irony is completely lost on them. That they are so gung-ho in way of like, let's see how we can twist this. Like, okay, sure, whatever you want. So, Ash goes on to say, since T-Channels took this one way too far, and she clarifies, it's ironic that Creepshowart went to Gabby after she leaked parts of her series to people. She says, in parentheses, it's about Rice Gum, not talking about T-Channels. And she tried to talk shit on Gabby, then ran to her to cancel people, like, after the fact. So from here, we're going to get into the bigger Twitter feud that happened even after the blocking, because Ash did block them because she was just done with it. She was tired with it. The whole back and forth and the argument went for, I think she said on her Twitter, like 24 hours or so, and she was just exhausted. She was done with it. But the thing that is not lost on me is the irony, which is this clip where I came into one of Tipster's streams, and I think at first I misunderstood what they were talking about, Tipster and whoever else he had in his stream. I'm sorry, Tipster, if you see this. I'm not sure who else was in the stream with you at that point. But I thought I heard them mention Petty Page, and at that point, I was not very familiar with her or her content, what she did. I had watched maybe like a video or two of hers, and just was not very familiar with her at all. So I actually, I asked Tipster what he thought about Petty Page, and I'm going to insert that clip here.
YouTuber podcast. By the way, Lynn, thanks for the $5. Appreciate it. $5 to elaborate on Petty Page, because I just got here. Did we bring up Petty Page?
Why would I said I don't know if my least favorite P channel is Petty Page or Nick Schneider. It's very close, but I think Nick Schneider beats her out. That's what I said.
We've barely talked about Petty Page.
Yeah. So like Petty Page is like extremely dishonest. Like a lot of the arguments she makes are just like bad faith arguments. And then like Nick Schneider's just an idiot.
The only elaboration you could possibly give on Petty Page, Lynn, is saying that she's like diagnosed with mental illness.
And she constantly plays like the race card, even in situations where it's not even applicable.
She also plays the I'm pregnant. Or
well, she tried to call me a white supremacist, and I'm Latino, so it's like, what the fuck?
They're pregnant.
No, but she'll start shit with people, and then like when they clap back, then she's like, oh well, I'm pregnant, so I can't handle this, and it's like,
oh my god, okay,
you started
yeah,
it. Like, what?
Oh my god, it almost reminds me of my sister.
She even had a stream one time where I forget what she was talking about, but she was talking about something on the stream, and she was like really badly misinformed. So I tried to play the nice guy and like inform her.
Oh, I remember.
And then like she starts like talking shit to me or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm over here trying to like help you out, and like you're gonna act like a dipshit with me?
So the irony is not lost on me there. And now we are going to get into the shit that Petty Page actually started on Twitter. And it's a lot. It's a whole lot. So settle in, get comfy, get something to drink, some water, a snack, whatever you need. It's gonna take a while. So Petty Page states, they were just as quick to jump to Creepshowart's defense, and now they are mad because she ran to Gabby Hanna instead of them. The absolute irony. Next tweet. Ashley, I'm not gonna blindly tweet things believing them as truth. Also, Ashley, here's Paige being a racist. Talk about that in a second. Please, I don't want to hear this bish as shit about drama channels, integrity, or research. Calls her an absolute twat waffle. And then Paige says, y'all saw small slanted eyes on a cup and assumed Asian. Y'all equated salmon with Asian culture. Y'all saw dim sum as an Asian slur. I called a person dumb, and y'all dragged me over the coals for months. By the way, I want to clarify, Paige is British. Or is, I'm sorry if she ever sees this, is from Jamaica, but lives in Britain. I'm just going to say Britain, because I don't know specifically where, because I don't know, I just don't think it's any of my business, even if I'm not personally a fan of somebody. So, y'all. So, what are we talking about here? Exactly. What are we talking about? So what we're talking about is a tweet that Paige herself made quite some time ago. Looks like 2019. That said, sis, go eat some salmon with your dim sum ass. And apparently, supposedly, the original tweet has been deleted, so we don't have context for this, but supposedly she was talking about a cup. A cup. And then proceeds to state that the racial connotations that were taken from the tweet are our fault. As people that read the tweet and objectively thought, wow, that sounds kind of racist. Because that was the general reaction on YouTube at the time, and was also the general consensus after the tweet got brought back up. I'm sorry, I'm only laughing because it's so ridiculous. Like, how are you going to phrase something so blatantly, like, to mean something very specific, and then blame the people that are reading it that it sounds racist? It's our fault. It's our fault, guys. That it sounds racist. It's our fault. She said it, but it's our fault. Sure. Okay. So, from there, as I said, because the context is missing, but the context was provided to Ashley. Ashley then goes on to say, I'm sorry, I'm still laughing because it's ridiculous. Says, wait, she's saying this is over a mug. I don't know anything about a mug. Literally, all I've ever pointed out was her saying what's in the cap, like the caption. Lol, she's so eager to call others racist, but can't just accept that she said racist things and blamed it on being British. Like I said, that's where she lives. That's where she's from. And if saying racial slurs to Asian people is normal in the UK, isn't that an issue? Just like saying racial slurs isn't okay. And says, only Paige could act like we are discriminating black women, her, by calling out her racist behavior and acting like we're talking about some weird ass mug. I do have a partner, by the way, a romantic partner, and also, by the way, he is Asian. So I read to him the things that Paige said without any context, the dim sum comment thing, and I can tell you that the face that he made was extremely unpleasant. And I have seen some other people, like some people that are Chinese and just some other just varying cultures say that, yeah, it's not an okay thing to say. I don't really think it's up for Paige to decide for what she says is or isn't racist. I really don't think that that's her place to say. So after all of those statements by Ash and talking about the mug, supposedly that this was all about, Paige then comes out, and I wasn't sure if this was related or not at first, but the timeline lines up, the date lines up, and comes out with this photo with the caption, "I'm sorry I look like this. I'm not arguing with you." In what world is posting a selfie of yourself that you've posted before, claiming that it's unedited, which I actually think it might be, by the way. In what world is that a rebuttal to an argument? Because it's not. It is not a rebuttal to an argument. It is not a valid point of any kind. It does not add to anything. It doesn't help you make your point. The fact that you think that you are extremely pretty, according to you, obviously, and I do think she is pretty. She's very pretty. But it doesn't add to the argument at all. It doesn't make a point. I was just kind of really flabbergasted about that, because I was sitting here like, what? What? I didn't understand why she did that. Why she thought that that had anything to do with the argument at all. It just made no sense. So from there, I'm going to move into, when I mentioned before that she has made statements that are racist against people that she considers brown, it makes me feel like just saying it. I didn't just want to say brown people, because that sounds really, really gross. But she has made statements against people of other races, where she is replying to someone and she says, "Laura, your brown Asian experience isn't comparable to my black experience." So the next tweet is from someone saying, in way of that, she stated she had already made an apology. She made a stream on Twitch or something about it, and she was like, "Well, I already apologized, so I don't need to say anything else." And the person that we are reading their tweet is going over the fact if she was genuine with her apology or not. So they state, "Because if you have, you wouldn't have said and doubled down on dismissing a brown Asian. You would have remembered your apology if that was the case. I don't always agree with Augie RFC. We'll talk about him in a little bit as well. But I won't tolerate you preaching victimhood either. This isn't your first rodeo either." And then Paige just proceeds to say, "Okay, sweetheart, have a lovely evening." And just the amount of condescending that Paige is in her tweets really gets to me. And even people that were friends with her have gone through her not entire, but a good portion of her Twitter timeline and were saying, "Man, I thought she was cool, but it really sucks because she just seems to be full of hate." And I would agree with that. I'm sorry about the exaggerated movements. It gets me heated a little bit. So under a Twitter thread of tipsters is where this occurs. Hannah Clark, who is a apparently big fan of Tipster, states, "Oh, it gets worse." She went on to say Rainey is a catfish using a black woman's profile picture because they disagreed about using the race card, which we'll get into in a second. And Rainey says, "I should have known in order to criticize Miss Petty Page, I need to show ID to vet that I am in fact a real person." So Paige proceeds to say, in the argument that occurred before this, that telling a black person that they can't use the race card is a microaggression. Rainey says, "That is what you do constantly. stating facts isn't a microaggression. You literally pull the race card and cry when you're called out on it. Paige says, I must have blocked your account like 50 times. Stop using that poor woman's photo to spew your hatred. Someone else underneath says, Lamau, so you just assume that she isn't the person in her profile picture. Why? Because she doesn't agree with you? And then Paige tries to claim because the person in the profile picture has been memed by incels to attack black creators. I saw all of this on Tipster's thread, and I decided that this probably called for a little bit of investigation, because claiming that someone's face has been memed by incels is a wild claim to make. Surely, if it had been memed all over to creation and back, there would be some proof of this, right? So I decided to look into it. So I came into the thread and said, did a reverse image search, and no memes to be found. So going out on a limb in here and saying this is probably not true. Rainey responded to me saying, you already do more research than a channel then gets paid to do her research. Limfow. Sorry, I'm struggling with my words here. And I said, I mean, I don't feel like a Google search is that hard. It seemed like a pretty wild claim. It's literally the easiest thing in the world to do a Google reverse image search. I'm laughing again because this is so ridiculous to try to say this person, even if they are the same race as me, can invalidate my claims because I'm saying that they're just a meme profile picture. When there is no meme, and that picture is the person that you're saying that they're not. Like, I honestly, I don't know what Paige wants. I don't know what she wants. She doesn't want anyone to argue with her about anything. Which brings me into the next segment. So Augie RFC challenged her to a debate. Paige refused. Flat out refused. So Augie tried to go into a stream that she was hosting, and I kind of happened to be there for it. And this is what happened.
Oh my god, are you serious? Dude, get out of the chat.
Why?
We have mods in here. Can we get this guy out of here? I have literally nothing to say to him.
You slandered me.
It's just so ridiculous.
Why are you afraid of a conversation?
So make a video, Augie. Make a video.
I did.
Make content,
I already
put it out
debunked
there.
you.
Tell people I'm a fucking terrible person. Why do you want this interaction with me? Fuck off.
I already did. I debunked you, and you posted the same lies.
Debunk me, then there's nothing else to do. You won. Congratulations. Here's your gold star. Like, bugger off.
You posted the same lies I already debunked.
So then make another video.
Just talk to me. It's not that hard.
Video debunking that too.
I'm banned.
Dude, you are literally like...
She's mad.
I don't want to talk to you.
Go away! Stop talking about me then.
Yes, I'm terrified of Augie. I'm actually terrified of him. He creeps me out in ways that I'll never be able to get over.
You should be terrified.
Like that's it. It's just weird.
Yeah, I'm the weird guy. I'm definitely the weird guy.
Paige. We just want you to defend your points instead of running away.
Exactly.
All the time like a child. Oh, how about just move on?
No!
Like,
fuck
I'm not
you! You're the one who's talking about me.
This is weird. Weird behavior.
Yeah, it's weird behavior. You know what's weird? This is weird behavior. Not accepting my debate after you slander me, and then your excuse being that you're playing with your pussy. That's weird behavior.
If somebody says something about me that's like incorrect or true, I will say my part on it, and then once it's done, it's done. I'm not going to sit there and go into a debate with them. It's stupid. That's childish.
Debating is childish. Good one.
Him and his stands are literal ass stalkers. 100%.
Stalkers? Isn't her audience? Her audience was literally doxing me this morning, dude. What do you mean that my audience are the stalkers? Your audience doxes people.
I'm gonna mod you now.
They were literally looking up pictures of me when I was in high school, dude. Her audience is like pedophile, like They're the stalkers, dude. Like, I'm just saying.
This is harassment for sure. Like, this is actual harassment.
You want to know what harassment is? Is making tweets lying about my stream and taking my streams out of context and saying that I'm a racist. That's harassment right there.
We don't just do things to like black creators. And it's just like, okay.
Nobody cares that you're black. Nobody cares. Although you care a lot that people are Asian and that people are white. I mean, you were literally tweeting about how disappointed you were at first when you thought your child was white, you know? I mean, I don't care that you're black, but you seem to care a lot about other people's skin color. It's kind of interesting, right?
If you're wondering who is the person that Augie is mentioning that was digging up pictures of him from when he was even younger, and by the way, Augie is still 17. Still 17. These are the tweets that Augie is referring to from this person called Let's Play a Game. And these are really gross. Let's Play a Game, it looks like tweets a photo caption of someone saying, "Who is this cute little lesbian and how tight is her?" You know, you can, yeah. And the person says, "Because she's hot." The person then responds and doubles down and says, "I mean, she is." Let's Play a Game responds with, "Sure," with yet another picture of Augie from when he was younger with upside down smiley face. So all that's just real gross, real icky, and now we're going to move on to where Edwin from Edwin's Generation comes in, because Edwin is apparently back. So Edwin did an absolutely massive 12-hour stream going over all of this. I was hoping to be able to include some clips because Ashley was in the stream, and I just would really have liked to include her own thoughts vocally about the entire situation, where she wasn't limited to a specific amount of time, where, like, you know, what she said, what she thought she needed to say or wanted to say about it. But it doesn't look like Edwin's making that public. So unfortunately, I cannot include that here. The last thing that I wanted to discuss in this video is there have been a lot of fake Creepshowart accounts. This is all coming full circle. Everything that we've discussed in the middle, again, is still because of that one singular update about Creepshowart. It is just insane to me how even the mention of her can cause all of this to happen, essentially. All of this. Because of that one clip from a podcast. It's wild. It's insane. So I'm going to be putting a screenshot up of, I've been hearing that there's more than just this one, but there's this account, or sorry, over here probably. Yeah, over here is where it'll be, of this Creepshowart account. That is, it's not Shannon. It is absolutely not Shannon. Tipster tried to reach out to this account, and I think a few other people did as well, and said, "Prove to me that you are Shannon," and they refused to do so. And there's also more in way of proof that that account is not real that I'm going to be getting into in just a second. But if you see any of these accounts that are on Twitter that end with like Creepshowarts, you know, things that, you know, are not the way that she would typically title her accounts, it's not Shannon. People keep humoring these troll accounts and interacting with them, and yeah, the community is mad. Community's hurting. Everyone's still, all this time later, super pissed and angry and hurt and hurting about it, and about all of the damage that she's caused and done. But interacting with these troll accounts is not the way to resolve any of that. And Emily Artful as well as Hopeless Peaches, who was on hiatus and came back to say, yeah, no, don't interact with these people. It's not Shannon. They are themselves encouraging us to not interact with them. And I would say that's a very good stance to take. Don't feed the troll. But unfortunately, that brings me to, well, the last segment of this video, which is about the real Shannon. So, the real Shannon reactivated her Instagram account and had some words for Tipster. And none of them were nice. So we're going to go over those DMs now. Tipster had said a while before that these were even responded to. I don't know if you're reading messages here, and yes, I've been publicly critical of you and stand by what I said, but I'm still here if you need to talk. And that was before I think he had a better idea about the Shannon that we saw and the one that really comes out in these DMs are not even, they're not even remotely the same person. So, Shannon responds, "You want me to talk to you after you commented on my husband's channel because of a provably false R-word accusation. Really? You thought that was smart?" I'm sorry I'm putting the sass on it. I can just imagine her being so self-justified in sending this. And this is actually Shannon's Instagram account. I can attest to that because I followed it before all of this went down. This is Shannon. And the comment, by the way, that Tipster made on her husband's account had nothing to do with any of the allegations. He had just asked him why he had deleted a bunch of videos and renamed the channel, which I will not be putting up on my screen just because I don't feel like this man deserves any kind of publicity, even if it is bad publicity. So if you would like to see that, you can go to Tipster's channel and see his video on it, but I refuse to put that man's name on my screen. So we're going to move on. Tipster states, "Okay, I see how this is going to be. Goodbye, Shannon. Have a nice life." Which, reasonable. Very reasonable response. He just kind of sees she's being very accusatory. She's on the attack. She's, you know, clearly not in a place to have even a remotely reasonable conversation. So he just doesn't want to talk to her. Shannon responds with, "Oh my god, really? You fold that easy? You're genuinely weaker, Will, than I thought." So that's to say she originally thought that he was a weak-willed person, which, wow, Shannon, tell us how you really feel. Sorry. "Boo-hoo, Shannon didn't immediately talk to me the way I wanted her to, despite me going after her husband publicly over claims that aren't true and are so easily proven fake. Cry more." Literally. Like the time you cried on stream because I donated money to you, which he states never happened, by the way. And you literally said if I was in drama, you'd respect me because I tell you to stay out of it. So dumb. Whatever. You didn't even have the balls to ask questions. I have to, no, I'm sorry. I can't even, I just can't even with this message. So Tipster responds, "Girl, you are mental. Get help." And I know it's blocked off because I ended up having to take the screenshot of this from Tipster's video because he deleted the tweets from the situation where he had tweeted about it, but they were in his video, which is public on his channel, so I'm hoping this is fine. He basically just says that she's mental, she needs help, he doesn't want to talk to her anymore, and good riddance. And this is what Tipster had to say about these DMs in his live stream that he did about the situation.
Okay, let's break this down a little bit. Number one, when I covered this topic, whether it was the allegations against Shannon or it was the allegations against her husband. I've made it crystal fucking clear this entire fucking time. These are allegations. Now, like I said before, some of the allegations, I believe them. I think that for me, there's enough evidence to prove that, or at least, you know, convince me rather, that there's probably some legitimacy to them, right? She says there's evidence to prove that this is fake. There isn't, though. I haven't seen any evidence to 100% debunk these claims. Now, I'm open to seeing that evidence. If Shannon has that evidence, I'm open to seeing it. I'd love to see it. And I'd be more than happy to show that evidence if it clears your husband's name or your name or whatever, right? But they're saying that there's evidence that proves this is false. I've yet to see any. Let me see some ones in the chat if you guys have seen any evidence that debunks this shit. Because I know I haven't seen any. I'm waiting. Shannon, if you're watching this, I'm waiting to see the evidence.
I know it was a lot of information that we went over today. It was a lot of different things. But yeah, all of it did revolve around Shannon. She just loves to just cause chaos everywhere she goes. Petty Paige, she's her own piece of work, man. I got no words for her. I have absolutely no words for her. She refuses to actually have a constructive conversation with anybody about it, and wants to hide in her own echo chamber of followers, of people that will consistently just tell her that she's right, which is exactly what Shannon did before she was completely outed for super nasty shit and bailed from the internet. But now it does seem Shannon might be trying to come back. I don't know. Why did she reactivate her Instagram? Why did she respond to these messages? Or message, I'm sorry. I don't know if she's responded to anybody else. I'm under the assumption, because of information that I've heard, that everyone else that originally had said something to her in way of support has completely blocked her. They don't want to speak to her. Nothing like that. So I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know what either one of them are doing, really. I'm still really hoping that Shannon just doesn't come back. And I'm hoping that Petty Paige doesn't say anything any more gross than she's already said. But I guess we're going to see what happens. I'm always trying to feel like I need to come up with something really poignant to put at the end of the video, but I really don't have that. And it's unfortunate, because I feel like I should have something really poignant to say at the end of a video about something that's just so crazy like this. All of this chaos revolving around one singular person. Hope she's happy. I think that about does it for this video. Very sorry for the delay on this update. I know I've been very slow. Some of these topics that are going to be getting released are also going to be late, but just from having the ear infection and everything, it just it was not a good time. I was in way too much pain to even sit and look at my computer screen. It just wasn't something I really wanted to do. So with all that being said, thank you for watching. Again, my name is Linux, and I'll see all of you guys real soon in a new video. Take care.